let's talk about a different character today, and I wanted to add for this week, and it's Carl Wheezer, another Jimmy Neutron character. I did Hugh Neutron a while back, but I wanted to add in another suggestion and just some thoughts and some character ideas for another character. Not even just Jimmy Neutron, and just say, for example, they can't get him. They can always go for someone else from his universe, and even if he is in the game, we could just have more people coming in from the roster. See how we have additional, just for example, you got solo reps like Reptar and Danny Vanna, but you have more than one SpongeBob and Ninja Turtle character from that universe. So they can just add in more characters from Jimmy Neutron's world as the game grows and as it continues to go on. So I'm not sure when we're going to probably get a character. We still don't know. And this is the end of the second week now. So I wanted to add in just another additional character, get more people talking about the game. Just character ideas that I came up with for Carl Wheezer. And some people think he might not be the smartest character in the game, but he's still funny. Just the things that he does, the things that he says in the show. And that's why I wanted to add him into this series for character ideas. And I'm curious to see what people think of my ideas in the description if you guys want to check it out. And you guys don't have to watch the full video. So everything I mentioned is going to be in the description. But Carl Wheezer is a great character, and it seems like he would have great potential. And just even goofy characters like him would be funny to add. And I think a lot of people would buy him and purchase and play him. Maybe people would pick him up as a main or maybe as a secondary character or someone that's just, what they say, meme with to have some fun. A good Mineeeee character to be able to add into the roster would be really fun. I hope the developers really consider this character as goofy as he is and make him fit into the roster to be dangerous and be a force to be reckoned with. But that's why I'm going to talk about him and just share what I came up with as far as the ideas. But just as usual, we'll start with the stages. And I watched the show. I know a lot about the show. And these stages will sound similar for what I did for Jimmy Neutron, Hugh Neutron, his dad, and Cindy Vortex. Because he had a crush on Jimmy Neutron throughout as the seasons went on. And a connection, whether or not she wanted to admit it. But Carl Wheezer is just going to join in on this series. For stages, similar stages that I mentioned for them, just for starters. So I started with the elementary school, Lindbergh Elementary School. I almost forgot the name of it, so I had to look it up to find out what was the name of the actual school that they go to. And some of the episodes take place there, and with all the different activities like the hall monitor episode I'm going to be referencing, and many other things that goes on during their adventures and things that go on in between the kids. Carl, Sheen, Jimmy Neutron, Libby and Cindy and the others. Boba, I forgot his name. Or Bobby, I forgot. But I added that into one of my first stages, and then the main setting of just these Jimmy Neutron's, the adventures of Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius, or whatever you want to call it, is Retroville. That's the main location for the setting. So I put that, of course, as a major area that could take place for a stage to come out with Carl Wheezer. But as everything else that I could think of, when I think about Carl Wheezer, the candy bar. He's going to go there and eat. He's going to go there and get and snack. He's going to want to get some of the best snacks that he has a taste for or a preference that he's craving. Yeah, he'll get cravings and he'll want to get something at the candy bar. And just if you guys watch the show and just for the episode, he's snacking. And then certain things, his role was to provide snacks for the friends, for his heroic role while everyone else tries to figure everything out and get through whichever situation. So he was always using snacking, eating, or sleeping, or dozing off. So I think the candy bar would be the perfect stage for Carl Wheezer to come out with. And then I also squeezed in Retroland, just like I mentioned with the other characters prior to this character idea for Carl Wheezer. But candy bar should definitely be more ideal for characters like Carl Wheezer, for him to get his snack on. and be able to eat as much as he wants to, as much as much as his heart content. So those are the stages that I came up with for him. And now I'm moving on to the alternate costumes. And similar to what I did with Jimmy and Cindy, referencing the N-Men episode, I came up, that was the first thing that I wanted to do for a alternate costume that came to mind. He was part of the N-Men episode. It's almost like the Avengers when they each had their own superpowers. He was called Burp Boy, and they can add in that as his alternate costume that they can put in for the developers, but it could be paid DLC when they get to that point. And I think that'll be more ideal for characters like him. And the N-Men costume, if they get Cindy, Jimmy, and all the other characters, they can rock their costumes. People will want to see that, and definitely will want to purchase that, because that's one of the best episodes, me personally, and I think it's one of the greatest episodes that you can watch, and I can recommend from the show, when they were all a heroic duo and a heroic team to be able to protect the world and protect Retroville. And that's what that was their duty. So I thought that would be a cool little costume for him for paid DLC. Now moving on to, he had a different haircut, and he had different shades. And if you guys remember the Battle of the Bands, where Jimmy's band would be taking on Cindy's band, and they would compete. It was like during the talent show, and the Battle of the Bands performance was to take place during the evening at Lindbergh Elementary School, where the best band would win the prize. So Jimmy Neutron came up with some kind of genius sort of musical instruments, from the guitar for Sheen. I forgot all the instruments that they played. The guitar, and then the drum set. But Carl was playing the drums. That was his whole role for the Battle of the Bands episode. And Carl was wearing he had a bowl cut and some black shades. So that could be a nice little alternate costume that could be easier for the developers to add in. And then that was from the Battle of the Bands episode for that bowl cut when we wore the shades. But if they can't get none of those, they can just do a quick costume similar to Lucy Lau. She has glasses. So you can take the glasses off of Carl Wheezer. So I put in no glasses Carl, or no glasses Wheezer. So they can remove his glasses, but he can still be able to fight and be able to do some damage. Even though Carl can't see that well without his glasses, they can probably they can implement that feature into the game so he can still beat you without his glasses. So see how they did that? It's just quick and easy, and they do little hats, glasses, and so much more for just a free alternate costume. That could be free. Just to take his glasses off with no shades at all. But those are the alternate costumes for paid DLC offers that I came up with. Now I'm going to move on to the taunts and animations that I came up with. And if you guys don't know about Carl, he has this obsession and this huge love for llamas. Llama, 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 llama. That's what he goes crazy for it, and he even likes this video game, Llama Palooza, which I'm going to reference when I get to the Moveset. But it was his favorite video game, and he loves llamas. You know, outside of just eating, he goes the llamas, any llama that he spots. He even thinks about them during the show. He has a toy. He has toys of llamas as well that he carries, and he tries not to have anyone see him in secret carrying around a llama. And he has posters of llamas in his room. Just something that in his room definitely always usually references llamas from the TV show, and that's what I like. Just from all the different things that goes on. But it just makes him a goofy character, and it makes him funny. So that's why I came up with that for a little taunt. And say, llama, llama, llama. And then I think I kind of, he needs to have voice lines. Carl is just another character that needs voice lines. And just I kind of quote in the question that he asked in the show during the lights, camera, danger episode. He said, "Are you going to finish that croissant?" He didn't even say it properly. He didn't even pronounce it. He said a croissant. He didn't spell it CWOSANT. He didn't even spell croissant right. and pronounce it. Are you gonna finish that croissant? That could be something that players will enjoy. That I think would be really funny to see in this game. And that could be a winning animation. What y'all think about that? But the llama 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 it can be something for a little quick taunt to go with his voice line. But he can say that, he can ask that question each time he gets to the winner's circle and comes out on top for a victory. But one more little quote that I came up with, or a taunt, or some potential animation, winning animation for the winner's circle. When he got, if you guys watched and remember the Hall Monster episode, which was when Mrs. File, the teacher, was going to draw a name from the hat to pick a hall monitor, Carl got his name picked, and he said, "Victory is mine!" Because he was so excited. He was praying for it. He said, "I want to be hall monitor, hall monitor, I want to be hall monitor." And he got his wish. And he was the first name to get picked. But unfortunately, he didn't get the role because something came up. Unfortunately, with one of his issues that he had. So Miss Fowler said he wasn't really fit to be able to be hall monitor at the time. So I thought that would be a cool little winning animation that he can do. The winning animation that he does in his class, or in the classroom when he got his name picked. Victory is mine! And that could be something that he could say. That'll definitely fit the winner's circle for a winning animation. But let me know what you guys think, and maybe some other quotes that you guys think would be fitting for him in the comments, and what you guys think of these ideas so far. Now it's time for the Moveset. So it's so much fun just being able to create these. But just going back to the M-Man episode, just for starters, I thought Carl could have this super burp, and that was his actual power and ability, being Burp Boy, and his burps were super strong that he can launch cars. He can just launch anything that's in his way. So I thought this would be something that'll be a good little move for starters for him. Carl doesn't feel too good, so he can let off some sort of huge giant burp or a belch to knock enemies back. And then, just to add on to it, it can be chargeable for the player. So you could just do a quick one too. So if you don't have time, if the player doesn't have time to charge it, they can just launch just a quick burp. So you can, and then if you have enough time and you're further away from your opponent, he can charge it up and let it all out and let loose on the opponent. And it can, if he's going against more than one opponent and more than one enemy, 4 players, 8 players, however many is on the field, he can hit everybody in that radius. So the longer the charge, or the bigger the charge, he's going to have much of a bigger hitbox, or I'll say a blast radius of his, or should I say burp radius, for this attack, for his super burp. So you can do regular and then charge it up for a super powerful burp that can just launch you. It'll be really sweet. And it's a funny move. It's a goofy attack, but it's going to be dangerous, so you don't want to let him charge it up and really let loose. So that's just one of the moves I came up with so far. And now, I wanted to reference his love for llamas. So, in the actual show, when they were trapped in a video game, the Ultra Lord video game, I forgot the name of the episode, but Carl came to their rescue and ended up getting into the game because he put in his favorite video game while the other game was playing. Well, the Sheen's favorite video game for Ultra Lord was playing and still in the console itself, or in the mechanic itself, or the machine. He put in his favorite video game instead, Llama Palooza. So it kind of glitched out, and it put Carl inside the game and his llamas, the llamas from Llama Palooza. So on the screen it said, "It's Llama Time." So I thought this could be a move the developers could name one of his moveset. And I was thinking about Zelda from Super Smash Bros. Of how she can bring out the Phantom for a few seconds for an attack. And I think it was Super Smash Bros. Brawl, if I'm not mistaken. Zelda could summon the Phantom maybe Carl could summon a llama to come out, and it could be Llama Time. So with this particular move, he can summon a llama to assist him for a few seconds, and then the llama comes out and rams the opponent and tackles him or something like that. Similar to how Zelda can charge up the Phantom, and he comes out and swings across the screen. And the longer he's charging, he can swing further away. Maybe just with the llama, of course, it's not going to be chargeable. He can just bring out the llama to come out for a few seconds to help him and start attacking people, or just do like a tackle or a ramming attack for the llama he can bring out. So the llama can come to his aid for this particular attack, and it's another one that I came up with for his recovery. I'm going to get into that in a little while. But some projectiles, since he likes food, and I came up with a reference for donuts, because he loves eating donuts and all types of different sweets, and he has a sweet tooth as well. So I thought this would be a cool little projectile to add into the game. So I came up with donut throw. So Carl can throw a variety of delicious donuts at the enemy for their own enjoyment. But they're not gonna enjoy it so much because it's hazardous. The donuts are gonna be hazardous and inflict damage. So why not have Carl throw some donuts at the enemy across the screen? So I thought that'll be really cool to see. And Carl can use his body as well, and he can do a body slam, almost similar to Patrick. I was thinking about when he does that little diving from the diving board when he's in the competition to compete against SpongeBob. He's with the ice cream cone. Carl can have an aerial move similar to that, but he can just crush you with a aerial attack with some sort of body slam, and use his body to inflict some damage. So there'll be an aerial drop from the air to try to crush the enemy or whoever he can land on. And maybe he can hit more than one. He can hit more than one opponent and crush them if they're too close together for close quarters or something like that. So it can really be a good crowd control move, the body slam itself. So I came up with that. And just it's just another additional projectile. It's another quote that he does, and he was going crazy. Ruby Madness, Ruby Madness. Ruby Madness is something that I came up to reference a Beautiful Mind episode from Jimmy Neutron, where they were all obsessing and they were getting greedy trying to get the rubies. Jimmy Neutron was trying to hide the rubies. They were all fighting on the moon, I believe, or somewhere. They were all hiding their rubies, and they were fighting amongst each other and trying to get sneaky, stealing each other's rubies. And they became different people. They were nice to each other, but then just their obsession with the rubies and trying to have more and take other people's rubies and steal it all and take it all for themselves. And they all became selfish and greedy. So they didn't want anyone finding their rubies or taking them, and they're trying to manipulate them and persuade them just to take their rubies. They were Jimmy Neutron, Carl, Cindy, Sheen, and Libby were all fighting amongst each other. And every time they were fighting and they would change up, Carl would say, Ruby Madness! You see what I'm saying? With these quotes in this voice line, it'll be something that'll be really awesome that they can add and have them talk. But Ruby Madness is just another potential projectile move that I came up with, where Carl can be throwing these rubies rapidly across the screen, and outside of just donuts. Maybe you can have two different projectiles, throwing donuts, and then a much faster projectile move where you can throw rubies at the opponent, just throwing them across at a faster speed. And he can have a much faster projectile speed when he throws these rubies across the screen. They can be silver because that's the color of the color of the rubies. They can look something similar to them, and I can see that. I can see that really happening into this game. So if it's not donuts or some kind of food or dessert that he throws at the opponent for projectiles, he can throw some rubies. So that's just another additional projectile that I thought could be added to his moveset, and it references the episode and one of his best quotes and best moments throughout the show. That was really funny, and he just kept screaming it, Ruby Madness! A hip attack. Another character, speaking of Patrick again, I was referencing him with this. He can have a hip attack similar to Patrick's belly bump. I had to look up Patrick's moveset all over again for his showcase to get the actual name of his light neutral. So this could be Carl's light neutral in a similar fashion, but Carl could use his hip and be able to attack and be able to potentially launch others across the screen. So they can make that similar to Patrick's belly bump, where you just press the square button or whichever button is your light attack for activation, for light attack mechanics, for your button inputs. It could be something similar to that. So I thought that'd be dope for a little attack. But now, just to wrap up, his recovery. Everyone has their own different recoveries in the stage, in the game. Different ways that they can recover. So I came up with this recovery move, and I thought this could be the name of his actual recovery, Llama Palooza. A Llama Palooza recovery move to reference his favorite video game from the show that I already mentioned a little bit earlier, where Carl can ride a llama in midair to help him break his fall. So the llama comes to his rescue again, so he can use a different llama to bring out and summon in the fight while he's on the field, and then another llama he can use to probably give him a boost, or maybe he can ride the llama in quick succession to give him that boost that he needs to get back onto the stage to recover. So I thought this would be really unique. Why not have, if the llama is not going to be summoned and getting involved in the fight, the llama is going to come to his rescue to be able to break his fall and save his life. See what I'm saying? So I thought this would be something that could really be implemented. Use the llamas in his moveset, or maybe as an assist. They can do assist characters, maybe with a llama from Jimmy Neutron's world. See, it's all the possibilities are there. Just with assist characters, a llama, that'd be another cool little assist character, or some kind of assist that can reference Jimmy Neutron's universe, if they get to those or they decide to add them in. But if he's not part of his moveset for offensive capabilities, to be able to be summoned for a little bit, for a few seconds, or some kind of familiar in other terms, it can be able to be used as a recovery move that he can bring out. And see how April brings out a blimp to have her float back in, and so much more. And then she flies a little bit for a few seconds. It's like a bat is carrying her. I forgot about Lucy Lau's recovery, but it could be something similar to that. The llama itself could be there to save Carl Wheezer for recovery. But let me know what you guys think of this moveset and these ideas. I think he's a good character. He'll be a lot of fun to play, and he'll just save himself. Jimmy Neutron can't get in, or he gets in, or they need more characters that they can put in. That's ideal. Why not Carl Wheezer to be added into the roster? He's funny, he can have some goofy attacks, but he can be strong and dangerous, and you want to watch out for those llamas. Those llamas going to get involved as well, and you can bring one out to help him out in the fight in the system. But I'm curious to see what you guys think about him. I think it'd be a great character, and there's so many other characters that they can get from Jimmy Neutron's world. Ultra Lord, they can get Nick if they want. They can add him into the game. Sheen Estevez, Cindy Vortex, Livy could be in, and she can shine in her own light too, doing these dance moves. It's just so much more. Hugh Neutron, and just many other characters that can go on and on and on. Evil Jimmy could be an individual character if he's not an alternate scan. See, it opens the doors, and I think Carl Wheezer would be a good addition to this roster for sure.